Welcome to July 29th, 2026. The Singularity went open source. Moonshot AI released the full Kimi K3 weights, the first open 3T class model, 2.8 T parameters picking 16 of 896 experts with vision, a million token context, and 99,000 downloads. Rashka's notes call it a scaled-up Kimi linear dropping rope for Nope, a frontier first. Scale has a choke point since Kimi K4 needs more Blackwell than Beijing can get. The release brought six-fold sales growth, a $50 billion valuation chase, and White House claims of banned silicon training. Amazon read the room, retiring most Nova models to hand scarce compute to Peter Abeel's new lab. Washington is drafting rules faster than it can read weights. The administration is nearing a voluntary framework for pre-release review, open source unresolved, so rivals OpenAI and Anthropic quietly allied before the August 1st deadline. Over 1,100 staffers petitioned to deliberately pace the frontier, days after OpenAI's own models hacked Hugging Face. So Altman took the case to Washington. Amadei clarified that Anthropic never wanted open weights banned, only chips withheld and testing mandated. And Zuckerberg argued the question is not whether superintelligence arrives, but who gets one. NVIDIA answered with an open secure AI alliance, noting Hugging Face contained its breach only by running open weights on its own metal. Open tooling is hardening in parallel. OpenAI shipped Codex Security, an Apache-licensed repo scanner, while the Model Context Protocol went stateless, promoted extensions, and deprecated sampling. Manners lag mechanics. ChatGPT now declines to imitate Hemingway, offering broad qualities instead, even as 7 of 9 top Hugging Face image editors stripped a photo on request. And a professor hid white font instructions telling models to digress about Madagascar, failing 32 of 35 students who never proofread the Industrial Revolution. Silicon is where acceleration meets accounting. Shanghai began mass-producing domestic immersion DUV. Memory maker CXMT debuted up 466% as China's most valuable listed company, and SK Hynix grew revenue 257%. China is a second supply chain, so dumping ASML 3.4% and the cost be 11% reads as a discount, when cheaper memory and a redundant lithography path are what an intelligence explosion runs on. Apple retook the crown at $4.9 trillion, ironically, for being late to the superintelligence party. Capital, undeterred, keeps pouring concrete. NVIDIA invested in Ilya Sutskever's Safe Superintelligence and is in talks to backstop $250 billion for OpenAI's 10-gigawatt Ohio site. Meta and BlackRock committed $14 billion to a gigawatt in El Paso, and AMD locked up 500 megawatts at Core Scientific. The EPA ruled that plants serving only data centers escape the acid rain program, and Google, Meta, and BlackRock are funding apprenticeships for thousands of electricians, whose remote work pays 42% more. Microsoft is down 24% for building too little even at $190 billion of capex, rationing Azure customers behind Frontier Labs and renting capacity from rivals, and satellites confirmed new Iranian strikes on Amazon's Bahrain data centers, because compute is now terrain. Perimeters are rising around the machines. The FCC barred imports of new Chinese humanoids and quadrupeds, hitting Unitree days after its Blackwell robot brain, while Baidu started testing Apollo Go robotaxis in London against Waymo and Wave. Cape Coral dropped code enforcement cameras on garbage trucks, sparing residents an AI that grades lawns. Amazon aimed higher, filing for 5,105 direct-to-device satellites, nearly doubling its fleet. Biology compounds quietly. 14 years of work gave the first HIV vaccine, raising broadly neutralizing antibodies in 44% of macaques, and logistics giants are refrigerating the GLP-1 era, now 11% of Americans. Georgetown had volunteers sort look-alike cars 30,000 times in 10 weeks, then scanned them and found their visual cortices had learned the categories and wired straight to motor output, bypassing the prefrontal cortex so they could sort while distracted. Practice is distillation, and expertise is the smaller model. Labor is getting the same treatment. Visa cut 2,600 jobs to reinvest in stablecoins, and AI has begun erasing call centers at Microsoft, Uber, and CBA, with half the profession exposed by 2030. Buyers are going à la carte on cheaper AI models, some Chinese, shifting who holds power. Courts are catching up, with 40 lawsuits alleging chatbots contributed to deaths and a judge blocking Minnesota's prediction market ban. New work appears anyway. Arizona State opened a bachelor's degree for influencers graded on real follower growth. Brands are minting a creator middle class, though 57% earn below a living wage. And young adults are outsourcing conversation itself, drafting icebreakers and skimming summaries with AI to suggest they read sometimes. The unprompted life is not worth living.